everyone, Brad here today from the OFAH. In this month's Fascinating Facts series, we're going to be focusing on one of Ontario's most popular outdoor pursuits. This month, we're going to be tracking down some interesting information all about hunting. So stick around. Hunting is one of the oldest pursuits in human history, and has been practiced for acquiring food, clothing, and other resources provided by game species. Scientists have been able to trace hunting activities back at least 3 million years. Early humans did not hunt with the same weapons and means that we would associate with hunting nowadays. Instead, they practiced something that is called persistence hunting. It is thought that persistence hunting involved a simple form of tracking animals to find animals sleeping in burrows to dig them out. Tracking is the process of following animals via signs, tracks, scats, and sightings to get yourself as close as possible. Early humans may have also practiced endurance running along with persistence hunting, which is running long distances after animals who would eventually tire and make for easier prey. Over time, persistence hunting and forms of tracking evolved, up to today, when many technological advancements have made hunting much easier than the earliest forms of this pursuit. Nowadays, there are 3 main types of weapons used by modern hunters in these pursuits. These are archery equipment, such as compound bows and crossbows, shotguns, and rifles. Each style of weapon is used in specific situations and within the laws for certain species and types of hunting pursuits. Bow hunting, which is the general term for hunting pursuits with archery equipment, can include hunting with a traditional bow, compound bow, or crossbow. Bow hunting is generally used on big game species and turkeys. This form of hunting can be very challenging as it requires hunters to get within about 50 meters of the species they're attempting to harvest. We will discuss hunting styles later, but bow hunting is usually used in situations where you are either still hunting or hunting from a stand or blind. Traditional bows include straight and recurve bows. Compound bows are a style all on their own and can vary in size, weight, and power. Crossbows are a style of bow which is set up more like a firearm, with a bolt being loaded, limbs being cocked, and a trigger being used to release the bolt or arrow. Rifles are often what people think about when they think about hunting with firearms. Rifles come in all shapes, sizes, and styles, but in general, they have a barrel, a stock, sights, and a trigger. Rifles shoot bullets, which are a single projectile loaded into a casing filled with gunpowder. When the trigger is pulled, a firing pin in the rifle strikes the primer on the bullet, which ignites the gunpowder and causes the projectile to fire out of the casing and down the barrel wherever the rifle is aimed. Rifles are usually used for big game species, except in the case of smaller calibers or bullet sizes, such as a .22 caliber, which is a very common type used for small game hunting. Shotguns, much like rifles, have a barrel, stock, a trigger, and sights of some type. Unlike rifles, however, shotguns do not fire a single projectile unless you are shooting a slug, or what would be called a shotgun bullet. In general, though, all shotguns fire shotgun shells. Shells consist of a casing with a primer and gunpowder, much like a bullet. The difference with shotgun shells is that they fire from a couple up to a couple hundred projectiles at a time. Different sized shotgun shells contain different sized BBs, which correspond to their size. These projectiles, or shot as they're called, can range from the size of a small marble all the way down to tiny round balls about 1 millimeter in size, which is very tiny. The size of the shot will directly relate to which species are being targeted or hunted with the shotgun. Shotguns can be used for big game, with larger shot size or single projectiles called slugs. With smaller shot sizes, shotguns are usually used for small game, such as squirrels or rabbits, for waterfowl, and other birds like grouse or doves. Which brings us to our next fact, which is about the difference between small game and big game hunting. Small game hunting is a very popular and accessible form of hunting for many people. All it requires in its most basic form is a gun, 2 feet, and habitat. Small game species include squirrels, grouse, mourning doves, rabbits, hares, and other small species, and they're typically hunted with a shotgun or smaller caliber rifle, such as a .22. Small game is often hunted by still hunting, or sometimes hiking with a hunting dog, which is a topic we will discuss later this year. Big game hunting in Ontario includes 4 main big game species. In Ontario, our big game species include black bears, white-tailed deer, moose, and elk. Big game hunting is typically done via bow hunting or with a rifle, but occasionally some hunters will pursue big game with a shotgun and slug or a very large shot size. Big game hunting is done in a variety of styles, which we will discuss shortly. The payout for big game hunting can be huge. A single moose can provide up to 300 kilograms of meat, which is more than enough to feed an entire family for a year. While out hunting, there are many different styles that you can use in order to get closer to your targeted species. Still hunting combines the simple pleasure of walking in the woods with the excitement and discipline of being on a hunt. We could call it a perfected sneak. Because you could encounter your quarry at any moment, you need to maintain constant focus and move slowly and carefully enough that an animal might perceive you to be standing still. Stalking is much like still hunting, except when stalking, you generally know where the animal is that you're trying to sneak up to, and you must approach as quietly as possible without spooking the animal. Pushing, or driving as a hunting style, involves having pushers move through an area of habitat with standers or blockers sitting in wait on the other end of a designated area. In this form of hunting, the pushers will walk through an area, sometimes with dogs, in hopes of scaring and pushing game ahead of them and into the view and hopeful range of the standers or blockers, giving those in wait a chance to take a shot at their quarry. The last style of hunting that we will discuss is what you might call ambush hunting. In this form of hunting, hunters sit in wait, either on or near a common travel route or over a bait pile or other feature that attracts game species. In this case, the hunter could be waiting while sitting on the ground, could be sitting in a blind, be it on the ground or elevated in the air. They could also be waiting in a tree stand or tree saddle. With ambush hunting, hunters need to do their homework. They must establish bait piles or find travel routes or other features which attract game species, and they must put in the work to set up in a likely spot. Often, hunters want to be higher up in the air, as this allows their scent to travel higher in the air and limits the chance for their scent to scare away their quarry. That's it for this month's installment of Fascinating Facts. Thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to like this video and comment below. Don't forget to check out the resources section on our webpage. There, you'll find free printable resource material like mini lessons and activity pages to follow up the virtual lessons. And please subscribe to stay connected as we learn together outside the classroom.